Hello, you incredible friends. This is your pal, Edward's Ear speaker. I'm with my friend, Anya Lyudmilina, who's an amazing Russian Australian, and I'm a Persian Australian. And we're just going to have a great chat about winning. And how you been, Anya? What's been happening?
Yes, I've been great, Ed. Thank you very much. I have had a great day, great afternoon. Caught up with a few friends, and now I have the privilege and honor of talking to you.
Now, we are just talking before off camera. I don't know what it is, Anya, but every time I look at you, you seem somewhat younger. Are you drinking like animal blood? Is there some kind of ritual that you're performing? What's your secrets behind your amazing acting?
Well, the secrets. Oh, thank you, Ed. First of all, I can assure you that I don't drink any blood.
Okay, got it. So just to be clear, you're not a Satan worshipper, as I implied. So you don't worship Satan. No, definitely not.
No, definitely not. No.
How do you stay so healthy? I mean this seriously now. Obviously, I was kidding before. How do you stay so healthy and young? You just seem to get healthier the longer I know you and younger. How do you do it?
Well, I think thank you very much, Ed. I think there are a few simple things that I do that anyone can do. And number one, it's exercise, and I do it sustainably for myself. And what it means, I exercise 4 to 3 times a week. Depends how busy my work schedule is. 80% of my diet is healthy, what I consider to be healthy, and 20% I allow myself to have a naughty meal. And part of what I drink is coffee, tea, water, and champagne on the weekends.
And I know you're Russian, and I have to say this. I was drinking vodka with a friend yesterday on Sydney Harbour, and I was thinking of you as I drank a bit of vodka.
Well, yes, vodka is a very popular beverage in Russia, but I think they also must have expanded the beverage repertoire nowadays. So now one can buy different wines and other spirits or not alcoholic beverages there. So yes, but personally, I'm not a big vodka fan.
There you go. Of course. And I was just going to say, look, I mean, you're an amazing woman. You walk the talk. You're healthy. You're amazing. I was just going to ask you. Now, you are into NLP mindset and helping people become madly successful. How do you maintain your own mindset, and how do you help other people build incredible mindsets?
Well, thank you very much, Ed, for asking me this question. It's actually, I believe that's what keeps me also feeling vital and have energy, and going out and meeting people, doing workshops with a lot of positive energy. And yes, I do have a few rules and for myself to make sure that I'm in a great state. And for example, I practice self-supportive talk, self-supportive inner communication, I'll call it self-talk. So for example, I have a few mantras, and one of my personal mantra is whatever will happen, and it will be good. So for example, if I do a workshop or if I go to do a presentation somewhere and I start worrying about making a mistake, saying something silly or out of context, then it means I will deliver less to people. So they will get out less of what I deliver. So by saying whatever happened will happen, it means that I'm not worrying about making mistakes, or saying something out of context or silly. It means I prepare myself to the best ability I can, yet I give myself right to make a mistake because I'm a human being.
Now, Anya, you absolutely walk the talk, and you're mentioning some of your rules before, and you're talking in how you accept what happens around you, and that relieves a lot of stress. Can you unpack that one a bit more about accepting what happens around you?
Yes, well, first of all, I use supportive self-talk. So I do recommend my clients to use supportive self-talk, but also I certainly practice it on myself. because through self-talk, what we do, we actually program ourselves for success, happiness, and how we feel and what we deliver. So, for example, if I do some important presentation or an interview, and I start worrying about making mistakes, saying something silly, out of context, what it means, if I keep dwelling on that, I will deliver less to people. I won't give my best. So to cut that inner critic, I acknowledge it. I say, thank you. Yes, I know that mistakes are possible. However, I have prepared myself the best I could, and now I go and deliver, and whatever happens will happen, and it will be good. So even if I make mistakes or say something that if I become overly self-critical, I'll give myself right to make that mistake, admit it, fix it, and stop dwelling on it.
So in other words, you've put a positive expectation out there. So when you go and do something, I shouldn't say attempts, you do stuff, but when you go to do something, you don't worry about mistakes, but you've put an expectation out there that you're going to win.
Absolutely. And that's actually, this is one of the concepts that is practiced in sports psychology, in sports performance. So every time you go to deliver something and you have focus, like you will win, and you set the expectation. However, if you don't win or if you make mistakes, that's okay. You let go of it and you start all over again.
Oh, now I've got an interesting one, because obviously I'm a winner now and I win a lot. You can tell by looking at me. But
Absolutely.
I never always used to think that way. I used to be very underconfident because I used to be a complete loser. Now, speaking more to my older self or anyone watching the way they may be feeling, what if you haven't succeeded much in your life and you don't feel successful? How do you go from that point of not feeling 100% to entering that winning mindset that you have, which I think is absolutely awesome and admirable?
Thank you. And I think you hit the nail on its head. It's true. A lot of people don't feel successful, even though these people can amass a lot of achievements, but they don't see it. So they don't actually notice small or big successes and improvements. And this is one of them. It can become an issue. So one of the ways to resolve is actually ask people about how they define success. Because different people define it differently. So how do you know that you are successful? What do you rely on? Do you rely on external environment, like other people praising you, giving you acknowledgement, or...
Just on there, if I can jump in, I used to be so bad like that. Not anymore. Now I don't care. Now I get abused all day and I just don't care. But I used to be exactly what you said. I used to be so dependent on external feedback, and man, I was so easy to manipulate in the old days.
Yes, absolutely. Because we actually should, for success, we often focus also on something big. That's, and we want it yesterday or today or tomorrow. So, and we constantly seek for the evidence that we're successful, that we're getting there, however we defined it, and no matter how many rules we attach to that. So we can make it incredibly difficult for ourselves because we can create our own personal rules. What does success feel like, look like, and what we think of it?
So you're saying that we can reframe our own view of success to make us feel good, to help us enter that winning mindset. Is that where you're going, Bob?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Because the what's important is actually taking action, and not being in the winning mindset can stop us taking action. So what I'm the advocate of converting the success from immobile and static into mobile, into action. So it means bringing focus on daily action, what you can do today, and actually derive fulfillment from just doing that action, even like sending an email, having a conversation with someone, and not thinking, oh, what will this email give me? Or what will this conversation give me? Will it give me a new client? So the focus goes on action, and you keep focusing on action without expecting, I guess you go to win, yet you have no expectations.
Got it. So what you're saying is the key to winning, and I couldn't agree with you more, is focus on action. Don't worry about whether it's going to work out or not, and start taking as small steps as possible to kick it off.
Absolutely. To kick it off, you're absolutely right, Ed, and to keep going, because it's we need to motivate ourselves and stay motivated. And one of the ways to motivate ourselves is focus on the action and acknowledge ourselves that we have taken action. So we took the action. That step alone is paving your way towards success.
I love it. And I was going to ask you, I love where you're going, and you've really, only a powerhouse Russian lady like yourself could summarize so much content without fluff. That's why I love Russians. And I was going to ask you this one, right? In fact, a lot of people said there's a little bit of Russian in me, but we need a genetic report to prove that, right? But anyway,
there is a bit of Russian.
A few people have said that, the cheekbones, a lot of people have said to me, there's a little bit of Russian in you. And I don't think there is, but if there was, I'd say that's really cool. I don't know.
I'd like to think that.
Yeah, I'll get a genetic report one day. I'll probably come out as Chinese or something. Anyway, what I was going to say is this, is that obviously, we're doing this interview towards the end of 2020. 2020 has been a crazy year with the whole global pandemic and coronavirus and all that. What are your tips in particular for everyone as they go into the new world? So be it they've just come out of lockdown, they're still in lockdown. What are your tips going into the new post-corona world? What are your big mindset tips to succeed in these crazy times?
Absolutely. Well, the tip number one would be to challenge one's assumptions about themselves and the world. And I mean, particularly the unresourceful assumptions that keep people in negative states, feeling stuck, negative, sad, down, and constantly asking themselves questions and challenging. Is it true what I think about myself or the world around me? Does it help me or does it stop me? So that's something that I think that can be applicable not only post pandemic times, but every time, because it just what it does, it helps us to broaden our mindset, and to have open mindset allows us to see opportunities and to notice opportunities. There's a lot of power in noticing, power in noticing your own progress, and power in noticing opportunities. And when you challenge your assumptions, you start noticing these opportunities. And there are plenty of opportunities out there. We just need to allow ourselves to notice them.
And I agree with you. And to me, that's one of the reasons why freedom of speech is so important, because I always think, I think we're having this conversation before. I've had this conversation with many people, political correctness, right?
Yes.
One thing I really don't like about political correctness is it doesn't allow discussion of mental illness. Mental illness is a taboo, and political correctness stops the discussion of mental illness. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think unless we can challenge our own assumptions and talk about real problems, we're not going to get real solutions.
Yes, that's definitely, that could be part of it too. Yes, that's right. And it's all about finding ways to operate in complex situations and ways to find problems, because the truth is, as human beings, we undergo a lot of challenging and difficult situations in life. And having the mindset where we can challenge our assumptions, question ourselves resourcefully. It doesn't mean doubt ourselves, but question ourselves when it doesn't serve us, particularly our beliefs.
On that, so I've actually struggled on this point a little bit. I used to doubt and questioning oneself and doubting oneself. I've often struggled on that issue. Can you just unpack that a bit? What is the difference between doubting oneself and questioning oneself? So I have certainly struggled on that issue. Sorry, a bug just ran past me and I just jumped.
Yes. No, sorry, I probably wasn't clear when I said that. So this is a very good question. So questioning oneself is it's more questioning your beliefs, the beliefs that hold you back, or beliefs that we have about the world around us. For example, if we see something only as black and white, or we start pigeonholing people.
So
yes, I saw something. Something has come up.
Must be from the flowers. This bug went past me. I went, yeah. And then the bug just crawled on my arm. And anyway, sorry, can you please continue? Sorry, I'm listening. I'm just worried this bug will go there or something. Anyway, sorry, please continue, Anya.
Yeah, I think you might be Russian. Yes.
Yes. I'll try to.
Yes.
I will squash this bug. Does that sound good? No, terrible Russian accent.
I think you better squash this bug really good.
I will squash this bug. I will crush him with the might of the union. I love the accent, Anya. Sorry.
Thank you. I turned it up a little bit.
Anyway, sorry, please continue until this bug sort of kills me. Please continue.
Yes, it's about questioning our limiting beliefs and realizing that often the world is not black and white, but there's a whole palette of colors that we need to allow ourselves to see. And also we constantly, not constantly, but we tend to judge and appraise people because as human beings. And sometimes we pigeonhole people. And this is also unresourceful because most human beings have different parts to them. We all have parts that are really good and parts that could be perhaps developed. So, but the world is not in black and white. It is in color and there are different shades. So, and once the person can see that, they can see also solutions and find ways to work with other people and build connections, relationships, also increase their clientele base. It has such an incredible flow-on effect once we challenge the assumptions. And it leads us to the second tip. It's about being flexible.
Yes.
Being flexible because, yes, we don't know what will happen tomorrow in the world. And I think the recent challenging times have proved it. So we need to be flexible to be able to adjust. It doesn't mean submission and giving up on ourselves, but to be able to adjust. And if we have open mindset, we can find new ways and new solutions to our problems. And find also resources within ourselves to support ourselves and to support other people around us. But we need to, first of all, we need to support ourselves.
Oh, excellent, Anya. And I imagine if someone's a client of yours, these are some of the things that you go into. You challenge their assumptions, you get them supporting themselves and focusing the right way.
Absolutely. And I do it depends on what's right for the client because every client is different and they're unique. So my job as a coach is not to tell people what to do, but to ask them questions for them to arrive at the answers themselves. And that's much more powerful and empowering for people. Because everyone perceives what's going on around them and how they see themselves is different to everyone else. So I'm more like a facilitator or a conduit to their solutions so they can find the solutions within themselves. And that can be done through question techniques or exercises, NLP exercises, or also hypnosis.
Wow. That's totally different because you're so cool. I just sit there and tell people what to do. Then I go back and have a drink or something. So you actually listen to people and understand their problems. That's really good of you, Anya. I like it.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy doing that. Actually, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by people, and I love listening to people. And it's often I see the reflection of myself in my clients.
I was just going to say, I know you're a highly qualified coach. You're into NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and more. Very qualified. Like, I was going to ask. I never actually asked you this question. I just want to ask you, especially on camera. Before you became a coach, what did you do in your old life? I'm kind of curious.
In my old life, yes, absolutely. So I have over 14 years in doing marketing and advertising, and working for natural health medicine companies, and yes, doing advertising in the corporate world. And yes, that was my vocation before I undertook NLP hypnosis, and I also do behavioral analysis, which in abbreviation EDISC, and I do it with mostly corporate clients because it really can help them to progress in their career and understand themselves too better.
Beautiful. I was just going to say, Anya, as well, just before you go, I know you're a busy lady. How can people find you and get in contact with you? Obvious question. I know you're going to say a certain platform owned by Microsoft, but how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Well, there's a website. So the business that I have founded is called New Life Design. So there's a website, www.newlifedesign.com.au. They can find me on LinkedIn, which is, if they use the extension Anya NLD, that's abbreviation for New Life Design. Or they can find me on social media, New Life Design Coaching on Facebook or Instagram. Absolutely. It's very easy.
It's a pleasure. And friends, just to let you know, what you see is what you get. Anya's an amazing lady, and definitely we highly recommend her. So please get in contact. And just before you go, Anya, as well, I want to give you the final closing word. Can you finish this wonderful discussion with a closing thought to help our audience win big? Final word is yours.
Final word is mine. Okay, so that's probably, I'll finish on my I hope you can clean it up, Ed.
No, I want to keep it. Watching you squirm
is a pleasure. Yes, I thought, oh, wow, that's the final word. The final word. Okay, I'll finish with is a pleasure, isn't it?
I'm not cutting this out. I'm not cutting out the bug on me, and I'm not cutting this bit out either. You're just too awesome, Anya. I got to leave it in there. You're just too entertaining. I just love it. I could just watch you all day.
Oh, thank you.
Last word is yours. Before the bug gets me again, please, last word is yours.
Okay, last word is mine. The last word, I want to, I guess, ask people to believe in themselves more and trust themselves more. Trust their choices, their decisions, and even if they have made a mistake, made the wrong decision, allow yourself not to be too hard on yourself or to beat yourself up. It means you can make a new decision, a new choice. They say that failure is a feedback. And allow yourself to practice self-support. And I believe that balance is the key. Oh, and you have to cut it out. I got too nervous.
No, you did good. I reckon we'll finish on balance is the key. Actually, I'll snip this bit out. So I'll snip out this little bit. Don't worry, I'll clean it up. But I'll re-ask this question just to get a final point. So, Anya, as we say goodbye to our wonderful audience, what are your closing thoughts to help people win big?
Yes, thank you, Ed. Yes, I believe that balance is the key to feel successful and fulfilled, both in personal and professional areas of our life. Because if you think about it, it's even It's the key in all areas of our life. If we take a breath in, we need to breathe out. If we give, we need to take something back as well. If we spend a lot of money, we do need to compensate and make that money. So I believe that balance is the key to living a happy, successful, and fulfilled life, however we define the success.